So let's do the final part of this in a TDD way. And it's important with any TDD methodology that you have a good set of requirements. You're coding to the requirement. So at this stage, we really ought to have what's required in the final output, which is this. So let's bear that in mind. But first, we'll write the test itself. So test output. We only want one test here. And the expected result is, copy that. That's our expected result. And we haven't actually implemented the method that we need in order to do the output. So let's decide what we're going to call it here. Let's call it output Fizz Buzz. Might as well. No parameters there. We haven't implemented it. So let's, as before, use IntelliJ to help us create that method. Just take a little bit of the work out of it for us. That's fine. And as before, we're going to keep the method body empty, and we're going to expect that to compile. It's all compiled. Seems to be a legit test there. And we're going to run it and see what happens. And this is the red phase again. Okay, red. Let's put the implementation in, which shouldn't take too long. Let's use string builder. New string builder, right, okay. Let's do a loop from 1 to 100. Right, pretty straightforward. Old-fashioned Java loop. Let's not use any fancy constructs. Let's just keep it simple. And let's append the code that we have already written. So say number. Let's append to that the space. Let's just keep it simple. Let's not be fancy with the spaces. Just put a space on the end of all of them, and that's it. And that's reflected in the requirement there. You'll see there's a space in between each one, but there's also a space at the end. I think this is a case for keep it simple, stupid. All right. And of course, we return string builder to string, and that should be the implementation of our requirement. So let's see if go green. Fingers crossed. All right, there you go. Build success. Test run 5, failure 0. So we've tested the output, but we're not actually at this stage doing the output. So we've tested the whole thing. All of Fizz Buzz is tested in a TDD way. We've got to ask ourselves, of course, whether we want a refactor as well, because this is red-green refactor, very much red-green refactor. And then once we've done that, we can just use it. We can output it to the screen as per the requirement. Let's have a look, see if we want any refactoring. Now for me, I wouldn't really bother with any refactoring here, but you could. I'll give you an example of the kind of refactoring that you could do. You could say, you could assign these to variables to make them a little bit clearer, for example. That's a very reasonable and legitimate thing to do. Whether it's necessary or not, that's down to you. I'll leave that down to you. Some of it's just down to code style. Okay. There you go. So that's Fizz Buzz. We'll do one for Fizz. And we'll do one for Buzz. There you go. That's another way to represent it. using these variables here. Now, of course, once you've done a little bit of refactoring, I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. How much this is required, as I say, I'm not 100% convinced. Of course, once you've done it, you've got to retest. And hopefully, you'll still be in the green phase. That's an example of the kind of refactoring that you might want to do in the refactor stage after every one of the iterations. But I don't think there was much refactoring to be done here. But either way, we're still in the green, so that refactoring has been successful. Now all we need to do is actually use that method that we've just written and do the output here. So system, that will do. We're going to, of course, need a reference to the instance of the class here in the static method, like that. Just in the same way as we did in the test class. Output Fizz Buzz there. There you go. So that is complete. We've run the tests. The test works. Should we see if the tests still work? Should do. There you go. The tests still work. Let's run it. Obviously, this is called in main, so we can run it from the command line or we can run it from the IDE, like I'm doing here. And we should see it and be able to eyeball it as it meets the requirement. There it goes. So tested at every stage, and here is the output, which works a treat. So that's it. If you're going to be using this for an assessment, I'll say good luck. There's a lot at play, including the subjective opinions of the assessor and interviewer. So not everything's in your hands, but by following this guide, you're going to be given the best chance possible. So I've been Ross. Thanks for watching.